The other part is that makes it very difficult is that the hindrances are feeding one another. And this is another one. The first sentence that I have here, it's one of the koans that I'm using a lot. A koan is a sentence. It's a sentence that when you read it, it doesn't make any sense. It's something which, when you read it, for example, one of the sentences, one of the koans that I like, it's all is well. And for a lot of people, that's super provoking. How dare you say all is well? We got like war in Ukraine. We just had a pandemic. How can you say all is well? And it's great to use. Koans are great to use because it demands that you reflect. You need to reflect. You need to find out how can you turn your view of your life for that koan to make sense. We have the starting point of the koan being true. So how can you change your life view into the koan making sense? And this is one of the koans that I often use, that the reason you don't feel any better is the cause to why you don't. And for a lot of people, when I say it, it's like, what? That doesn't make any sense at all. But it's actually, its foundation is in the hindrances, and it's in the fact that the hindrances are feeding one another. In the Dharma, it's called inappropriate attention, and it is when you have a feeling and you do everything you can to get out of the feeling. Normally, we do the opposite. For example, I have so often been asked the question if when somebody are restless, you know, when they have the monkey mind, the mind that goes up blah, 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 like that is restlessness. And then I'm very often asked, what can I do not to have the monkey mind, the restless mind? And I don't know if you can hear how funny that question is. You know, you're doing too much, and now you're asking, what can I do more so my mind is not activated like that? It's completely makes no sense whatsoever. But that's because the hindrances are feeding one another, and they're feeding themselves. You also experience it with if you're annoyed at somebody, then if you cultivate that annoyance, then you start to get angry at them, and then it turns into hate, and then it turns into resentment. So it's like it's feeding itself, and that is making the hindrances even more difficult to work with. And one of the reasons actually why I think that in a lot of instances, people are not working with the hindrances like this, because it becomes a lot. It becomes very, very apparent which issues you have in your life. It becomes very, very apparent very, very quickly, and therefore also very, very threatening very, very quickly. But again, the wisdom which you pull out of the hat and you use in this, it's just to become aware, you know, to have an acknowledgement of what is happening and acceptance, and then you will reach the understanding by itself. So the solution to all of the hindrances, it's always wisdom. Since it's about the distorted view of reality, it's always wisdom. It can't be anything else. It's always what you need to do. I have written in bracket here the recommendation from the Satipatthana Sutta, which is used to how, you know, as an antidote to the hindrances. And it's guarding the sense doors, which means that instead of being in your mind, then you can close your eyes and you can focus on hearing. It's one of the exercises that I really enjoy, and also always recommend people to do, where you sit and you close your eyes, and then you focus on sounds around you, and then you catch where is the edge of the sound and where is the edge of me, and where does those two meet, and then you will feel how they like intertwine, how they become one. And no matter what you're thinking or ruminating about in your mind, then for that period, you're using wisdom through the sense doors to get yourself out of your mind and into your sense of hearing. You can do that with a sense of sight as well, where you're looking at a beautiful view, you're looking at a flower, you're looking at a leaf, you're looking at a sunset or raindrop or whatever, looking at puppies, you're looking at something, and then you focus on what you're looking at. If it's a leaf or a sunset, then you sit and you look, and then you notice, what didn't I see just before? Because there's a difference in looking and seeing. And you can look at a sunset, yeah, that's a sunset, but most times we don't really see that. It's like reading. We don't really read, do we? We recognize the words. So you see a sunset and you go like, yeah, I'm looking at the sunset, it's there. And then in your mind, you know what a sunset looks like. So you're not really present and really seeing it. And that is one of the ways that you can enter through the sense doors, that you look at something and then you start to see what it really is, and then you're beginning to see things that you didn't notice before, or the colors that you didn't notice before. Even if you're just sitting and looking at a leaf from a plant, you will see different shades that you didn't notice before, shadows that you didn't notice before, texture that you didn't notice before. And the same with taste. You can do it the same with taste. If you're completely aggravated and annoyed about somebody, then take a bite of a strawberry or a lemon, and then go into the taste, where you have the taste in your mouth, and then feel how the taste is moving around in your mouth, how it's moving from your tongue to your palate, how the taste has kind of like a shape or color, and it changes all the time. So you focus on your senses instead of focus on your mind. The other one is noble friendships, and it's one of my favorite. I'm doing everything that I can with the groups that I have, with the sessions that I do. I'm doing very much putting an effort into creating the noble friendships, that people meet one another with an openness and an acceptance to whatever the other person is experiencing in their life. And the last one is suitable conversations. And I think I'm going to have a workshop at some point about speech, about talking. We're gonna get to it in a second, because it's also part of the hindrances. But having conversations that are like what we're talking about here, where it's something that is real and is present. If you want to meet people on that level and speak with people on that level, then ask them when you meet them, what is alive in your life right now? What is present in your life right now? And then it's not about what the neighbor said or the weather or something. It's more profound than that. It's deeper than that. My take on it, and that's obviously why we're here today and talking about it today, is that that whenever you find yourself in one of the hindrances, wisdom is always the way, because the hindrances are there and present right now because you have a distorted view of reality, and you need your wisdom to realize what part of you is identifying with something and do not want to let go or relinquish the connection into it.